There are no objective moral values everyone should follow? No, thank you. I'd rather stand firm on what my Creator says. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. This morning, as I was scrolling through the news online, I came across something disturbing. It was a bombing that no one talks about. It happened last Saturday in Palm Springs, California. A 25-year-old detonated this vehicle full of explosives that was parked outside of a fertility clinic. And according to the authority, the result was actually the largest bombing scene that they've seen in Southern California. However, no one seems to care. Guy Edward Barkus, 25 years old, and left behind evidence that he was a pro-moralist. Those are people believing that death for all is preferable than living, or an anti-natalist. So they're believing that no more human beings should be born. And luckily, not much damage was done. The building partially destroyed. 4 bystanders suffered some minor wounds. The store eggs and the embryos were actually undamaged. So what is the big deal, right? No harm, no foul? Well, here's the deal. Seems like a portion of the US is on track to set this country to its demise. We're okay with letting in all sorts of unvetted aliens. I do not call them migrants because unlike me, they are infiltrating in the country disregarding proper procedures. So we import Somali fraudsters, Central American gangsters, Middle Eastern jihadists, activists particularly, and then we wonder why the needle of normality is pointing toward illogical insanity. We're spending an ungodly amount of dollars to educate our kids when in reality what we're doing, we're paying for them to be brainwashed. We think that white supremacy is the problem, that criminals should be protected, that terrorists should be brought back to the US, that man has menstrual cycle. The left is keen in seeing all of Western civilization crumble. And I say left because it is the same phenomena in Europe. Behind these irrational ideologies, you always find the left somehow. And perhaps that is why the Lord said that at judgment, He would put the sheep to the right and reward them, while the goats to the left will receive punishment. The right side in the Bible is often associated with honor and favor, while the left side is associated with judgment and disfavor. And maybe we should get some clues from His Word, huh? Now, I've never seen such a political divide in America, a country that always stood for freedom, for truth, for liberty, and is now diluting itself to become unpleasant and enslaved like the rest of the world. But let me stay on track and not deviate into politics, otherwise we never get out of it. I think the battle is the battle between good and evil. The enemy, the Satan, wants the destruction of God's creation. And thus we see people like Guy Edwards adopting nihilism. And here's the scary part. He left behind unsettling messages and audio recordings on the internet. He says that he committed this act of terrorism as part of a war against pro-lifers. Yeah, the same one that get in prison only because they pray in front of an abortion clinic. And those are his words. The Bible is slander against Satan. God is a creep and definitely does not exist. But if he did, I would choose Satan over your evil God. Again, the scary part, he received a bunch of likes from other deranged minds like him who do not believe human life has any inherent worth or purpose. People that reject truth and objectivity in all contexts. People that are anti-human and anti-God. One of them is expressing anger toward his existence even because he says this, "Nobody got my consent to bring me here. I hope to sterilize this planet of the disease of life." The disease of life. This is incredible. Now, the father of the perpetrator, though, said that he was too strict for him, and so he wanted to stay with mom until the divorce came through. And mom was very lenient. And that brings forth another big problem, the lack of solid, engaged, available father figures. But that is for another time, as Father Day actually is approaching. So, should we follow the pessimistic writing of a person that was affected by severe migraine, psychiatric disease, and dementia, like Friedrich Nietzsche, who says that there are no objective moral values everyone should follow? No, thank you. I'd rather stand firm on what my Creator says. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Nihilists believe in nothing. They have no loyalties, no purpose, besides perhaps, like Guy Edwards, the impulse to destroy. Christians believe God created each individual with a specific purpose and design in a creation that is not a mere accident. So, dear friends, let's all pray earnestly against the more radicalized and increasing attacks of the enemy, which is affecting the minds of today's youth. Stay strong, and I will catch you next week. Ciao.